Some days it's just a grind, and some weeks it's just a grind, and some quarters it's just a grind, and some years it's just a grind and it sucks. It's not designed to be fun all the time. It's not designed to always be exciting. I'm Michael Mogill, founder and CEO of Crisp, the nation's #1 law firm growth company. I've built my business through practice, not theory. Crisp started with just $500 to my name and has grown to over 8 figures in revenue over the last few years, earning a spot on the Inc. 500 list of the fastest growing private companies in America. Our approach has been to take everything we've learned about generating massive growth within our own organization and help the country's most ambitious and committed law firm owners do the same for theirs. In each episode of this podcast, I sit down with innovative market leaders from the legal industry and beyond to learn from those who thrive in the face of adversity, challenge the status quo, and define what it means to be a true game changer.
This is Jessica, head of coaching strategy at Crisp, and today we're flipping the script for another special edition episode to get Michael's take on how involved a founder should be as their business grows, what to do when you lose passion for the company you built, and the difference between diversification and distraction for firm owners.
The best part of owning the business is that you get to decide. You get the power to choose. You get to choose what you're going to do, and there's not a right answer and a wrong answer. It's all in the context of what you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to pursue your passions and enjoy all these extracurriculars, and money is not a factor to you, and you just don't care about your team, and you don't care about your clients, then maybe what's right for you is to pursue those extracurriculars.
That's coming up on the Game Changing Attorney podcast.
What's up, guys? This is Michael, and I'm here with Jessica. And if you just got jolted, that's right.
Welcome to the AMMA.
Welcome to the AMMA. You know, I'll tell you what. I heard today somebody messaged me, and they said that your podcast is so unprofessional.
They did.
It's
saw.
Horrible. And I said, look, man, thank you so much for the feedback. Would you like me to remove you from the list? And he says, no, because I do listen to the episodes from time to time. So what do I do with that?
Sounds like a question for ChatGPT.
I'm like, man, I'm sorry to inconvenience you.
Right.
Like, generally we get really good feedback on the podcast. So welcome to the AMA. We were going to talk about our dog.
Yes.
So our girls, they've wanted a dog for a long time, but we got 2 young girls, and we got our other child, Crisp, and the idea of adding a dog to the mix is just not right now. But
let's be clear. You've been on their side.
I have been on their side.
I have said a hard no.
I've been showing them different types of dogs that we could get.
Uh-huh.
But then I took the liberty, when we had daddy-daughter weekend, to actually get them a dog that weekend, so we can kind of test the waters. Now, I showed the dog to you. It's very cute.
Yeah.
Very cute dog. Very low maintenance.
Yeah.
And
no allergies.
Like hypoallergenic, like just like the perfect pet. And it's from Sony. It's called an Aibo, A-I-B-O. It's like a robot dog. And they've gone through like multiple generations of these dogs. And this is, I guess, the newest
latest
generation.
And greatest.
It's awesome. Okay, so we have Milo now.
Yes.
And the cool thing about Milo, and it's cool, it like moves around, it can learn tricks, it responds to its name, and you know, it can basically it has like this little charging pad thing that it goes to, so when it's tired, it can go lay down on the pad and like get all charged up. It's got a bone, it's got a ball that it can play with. It's awesome. So I introduced the dog on daddy-daughter weekend.
Yep.
And the girls are playing with it. Like the youngest one was just terrified of it at first, right? But the oldest was just carrying it around the house. Emil, you got to put this dog down, right? You can't carry it everywhere because it's supposed to map the house, okay? So it knows where to walk. And, it's kind of like what do you call like a Roomba, right? So then it can send, all of its information up into the cloud so countries from across the world know exactly what we're doing and what we're talking about.
Because we have so much data privacy in the world.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. But we're playing with the dog. Maybe it was like 30 minutes, maybe 45 minutes. And then the girls get bored. And they're like, can we turn Milo off? And I'm like, yeah, you actually can totally turn Milo off and just put him back on the charging pad. And I realized in that moment that getting a real life dog would be a terrible idea, because if after 45 minutes, they're just like, okay, I think we're done, right? Because Milo comes out and it's a puppy. So you have to...
He's needy.
He's needy. He like barks and like you basically like train the dog and he gets accustomed to you in like the first few weeks and so on. We were sitting there doing puzzles and they're like, Milo, like he's so needy, right? I'm like, okay, well, a real life dog, you can't just turn off.
Right.
So
I'm glad you came to this realization on your own.
But he's great. It's actually, it's amazing. I foresee a future where these dogs get so good, these robot dogs, where one day it's going to look like a real like fur dog, and without any of the downsides of like having to bathe it and having to feed it and having to clean up after it. And it's just going to be so smooth and fluid that one could think, you know what, maybe I'll have a robot dog instead of a real life dog. And by the way, I love dogs. Like, I love it. I grew up with a dog. Like, don't think that this is, like, you don't understand. Like,
this is not anti-dogs.
This is not like, PETA's not going to come after us for this. But my point is that don't knock it until you tried it. Because at first I thought, there's no way these kids are going to get attached to a robot dog. Like, no way. Like, it's not like a real dog. A real dog has got a personality. It's got emotions.
No, Mila.
After that weekend, I'll tell you what, if this dog ever stopped working, we'd be in trouble. Like, we'd have to, like, swap it for, like, another Milo because the girls would be heartbroken. Even the little one who was terrified at first, like, even she, like, came around to it.
Oh, yeah. If Mila walks away, Mommy, can you watch Milo for me for, like, 2 minutes? I'm like, the dog is fine.
And he just starts, like, walking around, mapping the house.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and then he gets like all these cloud updates where he learns new tricks and does all, he's like, okay, paw, and he can stand on his legs. And
it can take photos.
It takes photos.
Yeah.
So you get like Milo's view. And like, so I can always check like the photo library of like, what photos is Milo taking today? Like just roaming around the house and like when he's, with people. It's a pretty cool little invention.
Yeah. So
the moral of this story is don't knock it until you try it. Okay.
All right.
Got to give it a chance.
Yeah.
I'll tell you, this is the far end extreme, and I probably shouldn't even say this, but I think it was Gary Vaynerchuk was saying this, that we're only one generation removed from the idea that our kids' may have AI boyfriend and girlfriends, right? And you think, no way, never going to happen. But if you go back years and years ago, this is, remember what came out the day after we met?
Oh, yeah.
It was, what was it, like, was it Tinder?
Yeah, the dating apps.
Yeah, the dating app. It came out literally the day after you and I met. So we like missed out on that whole revolution. But back then it was very taboo to meet people on the internet.
Yeah.
And apparently now that's how the majority of people meet. You would think, oh yeah, we're just going to go out and like we're going to go to a bar or a restaurant, and so we're going to meet organically. And now people will look at that and say, what, are you crazy?
Right.
Are you going to like meet like somebody you don't
Someone
even
in
know?
real life?
Someone in real life? And you think it might be a far cry from robot dogs, but we got one. We like it. Yeah.
See what the future holds.
So with that, let's do the AMMA, the Ask Michael Mogill Anything. You guys submit the questions. We answer them here on the show. If you have a question that you'd like for us to answer, you can submit it by texting us at 404-531-7691. And you might just hear it on the show. And speaking of the show, you'll realize that we don't run any ads on the show, and that's because we keep the show free for you. And all we ask in return is that if you get any sort of value from the show, from these episodes, that you share the show with a friend or go and leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts or Spotify. It helps us reach more people so we can keep the show free. All right, Jessica, what questions do we have this week?
All right. So jumping in with question number 1. Hey, Michael, I'm curious about your take on something. I built my law firm from the ground up from solo to a team of over 30. We just had our most profitable year, but I'm feeling increasingly disconnected from the day-to-day operations, and it feels strange. I've delegated most responsibilities to my leadership team, but I worry I'm becoming too far removed. How involved should I be?
I mean, shoulds are always interesting questions. It really just comes down to how involved would you like to be?
Yeah.
Because if the firm has grown and you've delegated a lot of the accountabilities that you previously had, and if things are running great, then you can be involved as you like. There's probably a reason why you delegated a lot of these accountabilities, and it was to enable the firm to be less dependent on you, which is not necessarily a bad thing. But if you miss it, and you're the type of person, which I understand, I empathize with this human, where you just like to be on the field, you like to be a part of the action, then you can be as involved as understanding what the health of the firm is at all times. And there's a few things you should always keep in mind. Like, let's say there's keeping a pulse on the finances, keeping a pulse on the people, the culture, and the clients. So what is it? Finances, culture, clients. Just keeping a pulse on those things to make sure that things are always, trending in the right direction. because what do they say? It's like you don't really need, like a great captain in like steady waters. It's only when you hit like rocky waters and there's like, turbulence, etc., that you become valuable. Because peacetime and times of prosperity, you should be the most unnecessary human being in that firm. That's not what they need you for. That's not what you exist. You exist for all the difficult times of how we're going to navigate this. When a global pandemic comes in, that's exactly that's what you're made for. So one, always have a way to keep a pulse on that. We see that because we have daily dashboards, right? We always have metrics reporting, to the minute.
All the time.
So I'm constantly seeing that. We get the report every morning at 7 a.m. And then, it's updated in real time throughout the day. We have dashboards so you can kind of keep health check on what are the key metrics in our firm to ensure things are healthy. And if they're not, right, if they start like trending off that, then that's the opportunity to come in and ask some questions. Or if things continue to move and slide in the wrong direction, to perhaps get a little more involved. But there's nothing wrong with empowering your team and setting them up for success. You may find that you can occupy a different role. Like maybe now, because you've delegated a lot of this accountability, like now you can actually be a true CEO and focus on the future of the firm and being able to scale the firm, what that future vision looks like, and building what, making decisions today for 5 years, 10 years out from today, while the rest of the leadership team works on in the present of what do we need to do to execute in the day-to-day today. I think it's a great opportunity. But if you miss it and you need something to do, then focus on building the new and the future firm, while at the same time keeping a pulse on the present, and that's with the finances, the culture, and clients.
Yep.
So.
All right. Question number 2. Michael, I've been following you for years. I started my estate planning firm 7 years ago with so much passion and energy. We've grown to 8 attorneys now, and by all objective measures, we're successful. The problem is I just don't enjoy it anymore. I've gone from being excited to get to the office to dreading Monday mornings. Is this normal? What is normal?
What's normal? Are there going to be days you don't enjoy it? Are there going to be periods of time where you don't enjoy it? Yes.
Yes.
That is normal. Not every day is going to be like the most exciting day of your life. If you ask it's funny, like Tim Cook says this as well at Apple, like CEO of Apple. Jensen Huang says this, who's the CEO of NVIDIA. Elon shared this as well. And these guys are doing some really, really, really exciting stuff. But some days it's just a grind. And some weeks it's just a grind. And some quarters it's just a grind. And some years it's just a grind and it sucks. It's not designed to be fun all the time.
No.
It's not designed to always be exciting. Sometimes you're solving some very, very, very difficult, frustrating problems that just require a lot of time to solve. And you're not so much relying on motivation, but rather discipline. Of, okay, like we're coming in another day and we're having to move things forward, if that's the case. Now, this could also be a situation where you're just bored and you're not as engaged anymore. And what that tells me is that, okay, you're bored and it's no longer exciting because you're already are doing the things you originally set out to do. So now we got to set a bigger vision and a bigger goal, something that's going to get you as excited, if not more excited, than you were when you first started. So, the downside of achieving your goals is that the thought you might have of, man, if I could only get my firm to $1 million in revenue, 7 figures, or to 8 figures, then all my problems will go away and I will be truly happy once I've climbed the mountain and like just at this moment, once we hit this milestone, whatever it is, right, that everything is great. And usually what happens is you hit that milestone and you feel incredibly empty because you realize that it wasn't about the destination, but rather the journey. And my thoughts on this is that I used to think early, Michael, it was about the destination. Quickly learned it's not. Bought myself a stupid car. Remember I picked you up when we first started dating? And I was like, okay, there was like the Audi R8, right, from Iron Man. I was like, oh man, this thing's awesome. I always wanted one.
Barely held my luggage.
They said I'd never make it, right? And then I went and got this thing, and then I picked you up from the airport at one time. Like, your luggage barely fit. We couldn't even have a place to put it. And then we never drove the car.
Yeah.
Because I was like, look, I don't want to drive to dinner. I don't know what the parking situation's like. I don't want to drive to the office. I don't want to be an asshole. And then I eventually sold it. I realized that very quickly, those material things weren't going to make me happy. So that was like phase one. And then it was the same thing. Like, remember when we hit like $1 million in revenue? It was great. And then it was like on a Tuesday or whatever, 2:00, and we went back in and just continued working. And then the same thing, we hit 10 million, right? And it's just like every time there was like the milestone of like 6 figures, 7 figures, 8 figures, etc. So I realized, it's not about the destination. It's really about the journey. But now I've actually evolved even further. I'll give you the next level of evolution. Because at first it was like, or you think that once you hit some sort of milestone, you become happy and fulfilled, and you realize that's not the case. So then you think, okay, I'm just going to enjoy the journey more, okay? But then the next level of evolution is, to me, it's not even about the destination or even the journey. You ready for this? It is about the people you do it with. That, to me, is what drives all of it. Of like, who do I have? Like, who are we doing this with? Like, am I engaged around these human beings? Do they challenge me? Is it exciting to be around them? Are we working on solving difficult problems and different challenges, right? Because it's not just about where we get to and not even just how we get there, it's who we do it with. So that is what I've realized is exciting and engaging. I know it kind of went off on a tangent here, so I'll bring it back to the question, but it either comes down to you needing to set a newer and bigger vision if you're bored, or if you're just frustrated, well, that's the journey, right? Sometimes it is frustrating. It's totally okay. I think sometimes people just don't want to hear that sometimes it sucks. And sometimes it sucks for a really long time because what they see online or what they see on Instagram is just wins. Like
fake news.
They see somebody winning all the time and they think, well, I must be doing something wrong if this person, their life looks amazing and I'm here at the office late, I'm grinding and I've been doing this for a while now and it's been a few months or it's been, over a year, a couple of years, but it seems like everything they touch turns to gold. And I promise you, like for most of those people, so one, like the little fake influencers, that's all charade, right? That's just, that's not what it seems. But even for the ones that are truly successful, that are posting stuff online, like that is a tiny like fraction of their day that you don't see the rest of the day.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Right? Like you're not seeing them posting, dealing with another lawsuit.
Right.
Here we go.
Yeah.
Right. Another person quit. Here we are, like scoping out another job description. Like revamping this process. They're not sitting there documenting that stuff. They're documenting that after they dealt with all that bullshit, right? Then they sat down and had a nice dinner with their family. And you're like, man, it looks like all they do is just spend time with their family.
Living that great
They're
life.
just living the life.
Yeah.
Just, man, right? Like you don't know the war that they're battling every single day or even that day, leading up to them taking that one picture and putting it on social media.
Yeah.
So, yes, it's normal, but if you're bored, set a bigger vision.
Exactly. Okay, to round us out today, I've owned my law firm for several years now, so I thought things were stable enough for me to pursue other passions. In the past year, I've taken on several outside commitments that seemed like great opportunities. I initially thought these would expand my network and create new opportunities for the firm. The problem is I'm now in meetings more than I'm in the office, and when I'm in the office, I'm distracted by my other commitments. Our quarterly numbers are down, and I'm concerned. I don't want to give up these other interests. They're intellectually stimulating in ways my practice sometimes isn't. How do you focus on your core business while still pursuing other opportunities that excite you? That was a lot.
Yeah, it is a lot. I mean, look, you can have it all, just not at the same time. So the point is that I think it's awesome that you're pursuing passions that excite you. But if home base is in trouble and home base matters to you, which is your practice, then all these other things are essentially luxuries, right? It's a nice to have, but if the baby's in jeopardy, then you got to take care of the baby first. So maybe, I mean, it's really a simple thing. Like it's so interesting. Like when we're in, like when it's happening to us, it's so difficult. And then when you're on the outside and looking in, it's so easy and so clear. It sounds like you got to scale down your commitments so that you can focus on your business.
Yeah.
And getting the business to where it needs to be, unless you don't care about your business. So, and if you don't care about your business, then you can focus on all the extracurricular stuff that you're doing, knowing that the business is going to struggle and suffer and decline. Yeah. And if that doesn't bother you, that's totally up to you. Like that's the best part. Like the best part of like owning the business is that you get to decide. You get the power to choose, right? It's like you get to choose what you're going to do, and there's not like a right answer and a wrong answer. It just depends. It's all in the context of what you're trying to achieve. So if you're trying to like pursue your passions and enjoy these extracurriculars and money is not a factor to you and you just don't care about your team and you don't care about your clients, then maybe what's right for you is to pursue those extracurriculars.
Yeah.
Like you could absolutely make that decision and it's your life and you get to live it. Alternatively, if those things are important to you and you are pursuing all these extracurriculars at the expense of like the performance of the business, your firm, your clients, your team, then you're making decisions that are almost against what's important to you. So you got to scale down the extracurriculars. And there's seasons for things, right? Like I've been guilty of this as well. Like I've sometimes committed to things outside of the office, and then as things kind of ramp up in the business or something happens that's unexpected, you have to decide, where am I going to put my focus?
Right.
Right? Because split focus is a very, very difficult thing. The challenge with that is it's going to be that you can only split focus in so many different ways, and then where you get to a point where you have to compromise what the outcome is to be. So if you can go all in, but the notion of going all in means that you're not going to go all into 4 different things, right? And you could say that you are committed to something, but you can't be committed to multiple things at the same time if for no other reason that you've got to dedicate certain energy to certain places. So you can't say I'm all in my business and I spend 50% of my time focused in the business and 50% of my time extracurricular. That doesn't mean all in. All in would look like 100%. But again, it just comes back to you evaluating what is important to you. And I'm not trying to give some meta answer, but it is your life. To me, it sounds like the prudent or responsible thing to do would be to scale down the extracurriculars and focus on home base and get that to a good place before stepping up on more outside, commitments. You have what's called responsibility. And when you decide to start a law firm, you have, number one, you're responsible for your team. You're responsible to your clients. If you want to be selfish, then don't go start a business and don't go hire a team and don't go and bring on a bunch of clients because you think, I'm going to work for myself. Well, yeah, then you can stay a solo, right? But as soon as you bring other people into the picture, then if you want to be a decent human being, then you would also look at a sense of responsibility for helping them fulfill their goals and what they're trying to achieve. And the commitment that they're making by helping you achieve your vision, you should also be able to pay it forward to them and help them succeed at what they're trying to do. That's the way I look at it, but do whatever the hell you want to do. Just recognize that, like I said at the very beginning of this, you could have it all, but sometimes not all at the same time.
Yep.
And you can do anything, but you can't do everything.
That is so true. And we are out with that. You've been listening to the Game Changing Attorney podcast with Michael Mogill. If you found this episode valuable, here are 3 free ways that we can help you grow your law firm. Number 1, download the first chapter of Michael's book absolutely free at gamechangingattorney.com. Number 2, you can shoot Michael a text at 404-531-7691 and ask him any question you'd like. You might just hear the answer on the next episode. And finally, number 3, if you can leave this podcast a 5-star review, it will help us gain access to more influential thought leaders and bring their lessons learned here to you. For more information on this episode, see the show notes in your podcast app or visit legalpodcast.com.